used Matthew more than he did Luke, because there's more similarities between Matthew and Mark than there are between Mark and Luke. And so I think that would make a lot of sense if, Matthew was written first, Luke written second, and then Mark summarized those two accounts. And that's certainly possible. I mean, Mark can summarize two accounts. That's not really, I don't see how that doesn't make sense at all. So yeah, I'd like to move on to really what I was meaning to say at the end of this whole dialogue. We talked more about the Gospels than we did about Paul, and I'm not trying to say that, well, you were just trying to avoid everything I said about Paul. I'm not going to try to do that at all. I don't believe you were trying to. But we talked more about the Gospels than we did about Paul, and I based my case for the resurrection more on Paul than I did on the Gospels. I really didn't base them on the Gospels. But I think it's still profiting, and I still have a lot of fun talking about the Gospels themselves. And I actually clarified before we even had this debate that I wasn't going to be able to answer every contradiction or every similarity that you might find between the Gospel writings and Acts and other earlier writings such as the Iliad and the Odyssey, because I haven't actually looked into every contradiction, and I have not looked into every similarity between earlier texts and the Gospels and Acts. And therefore, I'm not going to be able to respond to everything that you said about Acts being very, very similar and basically a copy of the Iliad and the Odyssey, the epics of Homer. And I found a link on a Christian website that goes into this argument that that Acts was based on the Iliad and the Odyssey. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to put this link up in the text right there at Tectonics. I'm sure you are all familiar with that. That's the Cabane the Christian website. I understand. I know you're going to face palm that one. But I'd actually like to look more into the issue instead of reading. Yeah, that's
Sorry,
all right, man. I understand completely. I'd actually face palm about some of the things that your kind would say sometimes as well. So. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for having this discussion, and I had a lot of fun myself, and I'm definitely going to look into the things that you brought up that I did not answer. Okay, so thanks a lot, and I sure had a lot of fun.
It's been cool, and I appreciate you doing this. It was fun. I think you did a really good job. I Hello.
Sorry about that.
I think you did a good job. I think it was something that can only benefit because if there's two differing opinions, it's possible that one can sway the other a little bit, and it's all a learning thing. And no, I wouldn't say Acts is based on Homer. Just that one story, I would say, is a copy of the Elpenor rewritten into a new story based around Paul and preaching and stuff. And so I'm not saying Acts is a copy of Homer at all, just that one part. So I just want to clarify that. But I won't try to extend the debate. And you're certainly right. I did talk about the Gospels and Acts because we do get the revelation, the info about the resurrection from there. I did cover a few of my ideas about Paul, so I didn't totally ignore that part. So I think we touched on some of these things, and you certainly don't have to apologize for not knowing an answer for all those contradictions that I flung out in a laundry list, and you're not expected to know answers for everything that I'm going to bring up, because that's just I think that's an unreasonable thing. I mean, sure, you're 15, but you've obviously done some reading and study. So it's just a matter of keep doing what you're doing, and um, keep weighing the facts and trying to get to what you feel is true. And so that's what I like to do, is just I like to learn little things, like just things that you might have overlooked before, like nowhere in the epistles are the disciples called disciples. They're called apostles. That could be a piece of the puzzle that a lot of people have overlooked. And so I gather that little fact into my little bucket of facts, because it may be important later on. And so my only thing I want to leave everybody with is the details always will create a more accurate picture if you let them. If you start with a big picture and try to cram the details in that fit and ignore the details that don't, you got the cart before the horse. So details are always going to create the most accurate big picture. And that's kind of what I like to do, is try to look at some of the details and then let them inform my big picture. So that way I'm kind of free of trying to protect a worldview. And I'm not trying to protect atheists or atheism. I'm just gathering facts, and then it just points me in the right direction. So that's my motto for the day, is seek truth above your own pet belief. Seek what you can know is true, even if it contradicts what you believe. And then you'll shuffle it around, and you'll get to some place where you feel like, oh, I've got it figured out now. And so this has been a really nice debate. I really haven't done this before, and I thought it was really cool. And I don't know, we may have bored people to death, but I think I enjoyed it. So you have another thing to say. Go ahead.
I was going to wait till you're finished, but anyway, I just wanted to clarify something here about when I put up the tectonics link. I was not trying to give you a refutation or anything like that. All I was doing was trying to make it known that there are other points of view. And I'm not trying to be like the kind that just says, I'm going to put up a link that's just a Christian website and therefore you're refuted. I'm not trying to do that at all, okay? And I hope you guys didn't get that impression.
No, I didn't get that impression, but me and Robert Turkle go back a few years, probably before you became a Christian. People don't know, J.P. Holding, the guy who writes all the articles at tectonics.org, his real name is Robert Turkle. He used to be a prison librarian. He's very childish and hateful, and I'm not attacking him. I'm stating a fact. His articles are filled with invective attacks.
I completely agree.
Not someone I would recommend, but I will not ever try to tell AA, don't put tectonics up there. But when I saw tectonics, I had to do a facepalm. And so I'm just saying. Now, for AA and everybody, Christians, non-Christians, I like some websites that aren't Christian or atheist. I like the Bible, the Blue Letter Bible website. I like the websites that allow you to do lexicon searches and search like Strong's Greek and Hebrew lexicons. Things where like you feel like you go into them and you're going to get information.